This episode is sponsored by Zenro Clothing Co. Pick up your tees and or accessories at zenroclothingco.com and be sure to use offer code Socrates at checkout for 20% off select items. Also, if you're not into spending the money, just check out the Zenro radio playlist. zenroclothingco.com, music for your everyday. This episode also sponsored by The Portian Bakery. If you're located in the Portian area of Scarborough, Toronto, be sure to check out The Portian Bakery, say what's up to Arville, and pick up a donut or two. Baked daily, crafted with love. This episode also sponsored by Podbean. Podbean is the podcasting platform of choice. It's the one that me and Vish use, and is great, you know, if you're looking to start that DIY podcast yourself. Definitely check out Podbean. Use the link podbean.com/SocraticGamers and gain 1 month of unlimited podcasting for free. Test it out, build that content. Anyone could podcast, right, Vish?
Yep.
Start a podcast and get your ideas out there. All right, enjoy the episode. All right, we're back after your little hiatus to Chicago. We didn't say.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that yesterday, but how was the land of America? Was it amazing? Everything you expected? Would you go back? You were in Chicago, so.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty cool.
Okay, cool. I've never been before.
Well, I didn't go to like the city part, right? I was mainly in my cousin's area, which is about maybe 30 minutes away, one hour to 30 minutes away from this actual city. So that area where they are is pretty nice.
Oh, really? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, like, with all of the, like, because you have this perception of, like, what it's going to look like in a certain area, and then you go to, like, the more rural areas, like, I guess, where you were, I'm assuming just rural? Yeah. So, do you notice, like, a whole difference between, like, what you see and, like, what there is? Like, comparably, like, if you think about Toronto, right? Everyone's like, oh, yeah, go to Toronto, whatever. And, like, if you just go to downtown Toronto, that's not really Toronto. You know what I mean? There's like Markham, there's like Port Union, there's like Mississauga, you know, like the GTA kind of thing. And because Kendrick brought it up as well in his song like Dodger Blue, like about how people are like, oh, I'm from LA, but it's like you don't actually go outside. Like you don't really go through LA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if you're just in downtown Toronto, you're like, oh, I'm a Torontonian. It's like kind of, but like that's like one subset of like the actual thing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, was it like that when you're going through? You're like, oh, Chicago's not at all what I thought it would be like. You know?
Well, I've been to the city before, like a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Now, so I can compare the two. That area just feels like any other subdivision. Like
okay, cool.
Quiet place kind of thing.
That's cool.
Yeah. Like a big, because it's like sort of rural-ish. They have like one of these big malls, and it was like I was like surprised how huge it was.
Like Yorkdale style, like really big, or
yeah, I think it was more bigger than that.
Wow,
they had all like not weird stuff, but just like all sorts of things that were there. Right? I was, I think there was like one area of it has like an ice rink. I think people are saying, or like someone reminded me of like it's like Edmonton Mall or something like that.
Oh, West Edmonton Mall. Okay, cool.
Right. I'm not sure. I've never been there, but I don't know how big that one is comparative. But
okay, so I've been to West Edmonton Mall. It is not as impressive as you would think. So the reason why it's impressive is because things are attached to it. So it's like, you know, they're like, oh, there's a water park. It's like, yeah, but the mall itself is maybe like Yorkdale, but then they attach like you know, like Yorkdale's like pretty big. It's sort of like that. It's like the shopping center's big, not that big, but then when you include like the water park and the hotel and all that, it's like technically it's not really the mall. Like I can't shop in the water park, but it's like a part of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I think this one there was a lot of shops. I was surprised by some of the like the Asian shops because they had like we missed it the first time walking by, but it was like a huge like statue of Goku.
Oh, that's cool.
Like,
yeah, totally. Yeah.
So they have all these figures and stuff you can buy in there. Then there's like an arcade section, you know, like in the Asian areas, like the thing that picks up. Yeah. There's a bunch of those.
Okay, dude, I really think that Asian stuff is like taken over. It's very interesting, like that kind of, like even the fact that you said that, it's like, all right, it's either it's taking over or that's what we were influenced by as kids, and then now we're just the purchasing adults. Because I went to
Hmm.
GameStop and I'm like, why is it just an anime shop now? Right? You know,
Right,
like when you
right,
go to
right,
like
right.
buy video games, it's just like anime stuff. But
Hmm.
it's like, oh, these are all the things that we watched as kids, like Dragon Ball Z and all that. And it's like
It's the
because we
same.
have
Yeah,
the
it's the
money,
same. Exactly. Those are the kids that played these games. Now they're adults who have money.
the
So
money. So it's
there's.
like, okay, let's just turn it into like an anime. And they're making money. Like I really thought, GameStop was gonna die, but then when you go to it, it's like, no, I go there for like anime stuff.
Hmm.
Which is like weird because you'd think like GameStop like video games, but it's like no, you can just download the video game online.
Right.
So it's like how do you survive?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, so keep going. Yeah, so there's
yeah.
like
So there was
Asian.
all that, and then one thing that it did remind me of. I mean, this isn't normal malls, but I didn't know why I didn't think of it before. But like when you walk through the aisles, there's always these things in the center, like these random stuff to buy, or like these
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
T-shirts or things.
Stalls. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but it's like all that reminded me of was like if you go to developing nations, like
yeah.
when they just sell on the streets.
Totally. Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
all
yeah.
that
No,
is
no,
just
yeah.
inside of a mall. That's all it is.
That's just like what's it called? The flea markets.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
the same thing. Like a flea market is essentially just a bazaar.
Hmm.
When you go abroad and they're like, oh, visit the bazaar, and you're like, it's just a bunch of shops. You
Yeah,
know.
but it's just done in a
Which,
cleaner way, right? So it's like
yeah,
the
yeah,
safer
exactly. Yeah,
area.
yeah.
So.
Which is really interesting. It's like we have these recurring things that are always prevalent within society,
Hmm.
like malls and like I don't know, worshiping centers.
Hmm.
It's like the temples that we visit now. You're like, oh, that's such an old school thing, but it's like, no, you have a church, bro. Like I've driven past so many churches. It's the exact same thing,
Right, right,
you
right.
know.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's like it's more cleaned up. So
Hmm.
you have like the shop stalls, but then now they have like storefronts.
Right. Yeah.
Like okay,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah.
essentially the same
It's
idea.
it's exactly the same thing. It just looks better, right? So
Like
then
yeah, modern.
we're not
Yeah,
making
totally.
the connection right away there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, facts. Did you see the thing that happened well, because like you're saying like making it better, and I was thinking about how like stores have like kind of security. Like there's a one-way entrance, right? Whereas at those stalls, if you watch like the Aladdin movie, right, he could steal from the shopkeeper, like he just like hides underneath and like steals like an apple and like runs away, right? But like if you have a storefront, you have to run through the door. So like there's less chance of people robbing the place, right? Creating law and order.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure, but that's like yeah, like a normal anything that has a storefront, right, or a store.
Totally, totally.
Yeah.
But did you see? I think it was Markham, the video of all those kids smashing the entire.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that was crazy, bro. But to me, I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, people are like starving. Like you don't just do that. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? Unless you're a part of. I heard this thing where um, gang leaders will hire younger people because the juvie sentence is a lot less, and like it's like less
Sure.
strict.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll give them some like incentive to like rob because it's like okay, it won't really affect you as much,
Hmm.
right? So I was kind of thinking along those lines, like who hired these people to do it, and but if they're not being hired, or even if they're being hired, it's like, dude, we must be starving as a society that you literally
Hmm.
like smashed the entire storefront and stole all of the jewelry, bro. Which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I think that's like a weird symptom of
Sure.
our sickness
There
right
was
now. You know what I'm
another
saying?
yeah, yeah, there was another video that I saw where I don't know if that was here or somewhere else. They smashed into another jewelry store, but then
Yeah.
there was no. They didn't keep the jewelry on the
Oh,
store, in the store
too
thing.
bad, too
They
bad.
kept them away. I guess it was like off hours, right? So they
Oh,
went
that's
in and
smart.
then just walked back out.
No, that's actually really interesting because like that makes sense why they do that at night. Like Yorkdale, when it's closing, you see them taking away all the jewelry because they probably know like, oh, people will just smash this and like steal it,
Hmm.
which is crazy. It's like, bro, why would you just smash it? You know? I maybe it's like the freedom of our society to allow us to do that. Because if you went to like Singapore, let's say, they're gonna cut off your hands. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
the penalty is way worse there.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
maybe like we're incentivized to steal. I don't know. I saw this thing on. That's why I wanted to ask you how like America's doing because well, a few things. The tariff,
Hmm.
the thing that Trump said, like, oh, 25% tariffs, and then that's been hitting Canadian news where like it would just cripple our economy because we 40% of our money is dealt with America. So if we're paying like 25% more, it's like, what are we gonna do with that? And then Trudeau like allegedly talked to him, and then he's like, you should consider becoming like the 51st state or whatever.
Hmm.
Did you see that or no?
Yeah,
Did
yeah,
you?
yeah.
Why? Yeah. What'd you think about that? I was like, ooh, are we hitting some weird like economic, not collapse, but like issue? You know? Are you
Yeah,
feeling that too, or maybe you're like, no, no.
I don't know. Like this is sometimes is like the trash talk to see what's actually going to happen. We don't know.
Okay, fair. Okay, okay, totally, totally. But then aside from that, the next news article, because like I was at my parents' house and they were playing the news in the background, and it was like um groceries are gonna go up $800 more or something, and like people are gonna feel it more now when they spend money at the grocery store.
Hmm.
And they're saying that a lot of people, a lot of their paycheck just goes straight to groceries.
Hmm.
You know, it's like they're having a hard time saving or like putting money away because like they're spending so much on just basic things like groceries. And I'm just like, if it's just gonna get worse, like where's the end point in this whole thing? You know?
Hmm.
Or like no. Maybe it's just my algorithms. Because I was talking to Tara about this. She's like, I didn't see any of that. I was like,
Yeah,
maybe
I
like
think that sometimes it's like that. Yeah,
period.
you have to
Yeah.
be because I don't know what they mean by 800%. Like, why is that the
No, eight hundred
case?
dollars, $800, not percent. Like you'd spend an extra like $800, and the chair was like, "Oh, that's not that much money. 800 divided by 12."
Depends on how
But I'm
you
like,
say
"That's
it. Yeah, yeah,
sixty
yeah.
dollars." No, 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 no. It's no, but still, it's like $60 still a lot, you know? Because like 800 divided by 12, whatever
Sure.
the math
Right.
is, like you're tacking that much more on. Because I bought milk, dude, and
Hmm.
it was like $7. I was like, "What are we doing?
Hmm.
Why is this $7 for milk?" Before it was like 4.99.
Sure.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
it's like you really like feeling the I don't know, like the crunch
No,
is
no, I
coming.
understand that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that just part of normal inflation, which is the 2% that we're at right now, right?
But okay, inflation inflation relative to raises.
Hmm.
Because yeah, you can inflate, but then if you don't give people enough of a raise to outpace
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
inflation,
Of course.
you're like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah.
We're just spending more money.
Hmm.
You know? I feel like we're stacking up all of the or like we're realizing that this is like a house of cards that we've really built. But then I thought it was weird because like we were like we were just hanging out me and Tara, and then she was like, "You send me some weird stuff," and I was like, "Oh my god, am I a weirdo?" You know, because like, and then she started to go through all the like
Okay.
the videos that I was just like, "All right, so this is weird, this is also weird," and I was like, "Oh my god, am I doom and gloom?" You know,
You
because she's
could
like, "You
be.
just send me doom
It's
and gloom."
yeah. Sometimes it's the algorithm. It really is.
No, but
Uh,
like, all right,
it,
all right, all right. So right, but I'm like, am I the only one paying attention then? Because I'm like, no, no, just like listen to what they're saying.
no, no, no. Because
You
it
know?
depends on how they're saying it. So like, what somebody
Okay.
was explaining it in a way like people, whatever the algorithm is coming, is normally done for that seconds to get your attention,
Okay. Yeah.
right? The information, whatever is given, but the nuance is not being said
Okay.
because it's too much to say that in 15 seconds or whatever the
Yeah,
videos are, right?
totally. Yeah.
So like that's not that's where the issue is, where people are not understanding what actually it means, or where does it actually going to happen, or
Facts.
right?
No, I see what you're saying, but then I'm like, so I hear that, and I'm like, okay, cool, that's what's happening. And then I'll go to the store. And I'm like, why am I paying $7 for milk when it
Mm-hmm.
was like 4.99? And did you see? I don't know if I sent it to you in the group chat, but like, there's a tent in Port Union. There's like
Mm-hmm.
someone living in a tent. I'm like, bro, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're saying that if you and I had walked this path with your brother before, through Glen Rouge, like you know how like the waterfront connects to Glen Rouge. In the back area near the river, there was like a bunch of tents before. I was like, oh, maybe they're just like hanging out. You know,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's just like, oh, this is where we're camping for the day. So I didn't really want to take it too seriously. But then what they're saying was that that was one tent in a series of other tents that were there. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, bro, what's going on? Like, people can't live. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
And then you hear about like the lines of the food stamps. Like, people are really lining up those like food banks, not food stamps. And like, because I'm in marketing, you have to do like a economic landscape, like year by year, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is what the organization's facing. And then, so I'm just like, okay, here's the information I've gathered. But as I'm looking at it, I'm like, this doesn't spell a very nice picture. So I'm
True.
wondering, like, is it my algorithm or am I the only paying
No,
attention?
there's part of it's
You know
true
what I'm
too,
saying?
because we don't know what's happening next year, right? There is,
Oh, I don't know.
but again, it's you have to look at, I would say like the job, what the employment, or
Yeah,
unemployment numbers, right?
totally,
So
totally,
those
totally.
recently came out, which is not a good sign, right? The numbers that were on there. Yeah.
All right. Quick pause on that one. In the nonprofit world, I mean, this is going to be public anyways, but I'm working towards like a job enhancement. Like the next program we're doing is like about skills and like getting people jobs. And I was like looking at the numbers, you know what I mean? It's like,
Hmm.
okay, so that's what we're working with. All right, so how many people are unemployed? Okay, how many people can't afford things? You're like, oh my God, dude, this is
Hmm.
crazy.
Hmm.
So when I hear like, oh, you're the doom and gloom guy, I'm like, or am I the only one paying attention here? Because I'm like reading the stats, I'm like, you're just not looking at the stats. This
Hmm.
is crazy,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So continue.
So no,
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, you got to look at the stats of what's actually happening. That's the only way that you actually know what's going on. Yeah.
And you're like, I'm freaking out because I'm
Hmm.
like, guys, wait, because it's different. So like when they said $800, it was like, yeah, that sucks, but I'm in a position to not have to worry about that.
Hmm.
Like it'll be like, oh, that's tough, you know? But like, what about people who are not in that same position where they're like, oh, I have to pay this.
Hmm.
You know, like let's say you have a family, right? And you're like, dude, I gotta pay this for my family, you know? And then you could make the argument of like, oh, decisions were made. But at the same time, I'm like, let's just humanize it a little bit. And it's like, ooh, it's not the
Right.
best situation for people, even if like, okay, I get that maybe you weren't in a position to economically have a family, but you choose to have a family anyways. And then now you're in the position of like, oh, I got to pay more money. Now I'm like struggling, whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
And then you get people who are robbing jewelry stores,
Hmm.
right? I don't think maybe this is just an idealistic way to live, but like, I don't think that's the best way we should approach it by saying like, oh, you should have made better decisions. I think better decisions are like higher socioeconomic things. Because when you're in like a low socioeconomic, this it's just facts. If you're in a low socioeconomic bracket, your like education, your reference points, your um like everything you're gathering is from that place and it seems normal. It's like, oh, we're all struggling with money.
Hmm.
Oh, we all have like abundance of families. Yeah, my sister just got knocked up and like, oh, we have 10 more kids on the way and we're all living in like one room with like 50 of us, right? Seems normal. But then you go like higher socioeconomic status, like, oh, you shouldn't birth control, bro. Shouldn't do that. You should get an abortion, blah blah. Like, but then at the low socioeconomic status, they're like, but God will hate you if you have
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? So you're like, oh, I'm battling so much here. So like I don't think decisions were made is like because I don't because we both agree it's like determinism. It's like yeah, you might think you're making that decision, but you're influenced by all these other
Also,
factors.
yeah, a
You know
lot
what I
of
mean?
yeah, education level, like that's what makes a big change too, right? If society isn't
Yeah.
educated, then yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot more issues with that. Yeah.
Right. And it's like we're so when you're working with like a lower socioeconomic field, um, you kind of have to understand. It's like cultures, you know, like we think that if I'm marketing to you and you're Indian, I have no idea what it's like to be Indian. So I'm going to ask an Indian person, like, hey, man, how am I going to market to you? Right. Like, you want to gather information from the person you're marketing to,
Hmm.
let's say. Okay. But if you've never spent time with like low socioeconomic people, it's like, can you really make, like, do you know how to interact with them? Can you see the things that you're not seeing? You know what I mean? Like, they might get angrier more. And you're like, what do you mean they're going to get angrier more? Well, because there's more trauma, you know?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
having grown up in like Spotify Wrapped is really what showed me this, you know? Because like I was looking at other people's Spotify Wraps and I'm like, oh, you're happy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like it's like some folk music, some like Taylor Swift. You're like, oh, okay, cool. And then like I dropped my Spotify Wrap and they were like, this is kind of weird because like I don't give that energy, right? Of like mine was like Kendrick Lamar and like my top 5 songs were like Euphoria, like that, and they're just like, oh, this is aggressive, and I'm like, but that's like that's kind of like I get it. I get where he's coming from because I've seen that, you know? Like I didn't know teenage pregnancies were weird until I got older and I was like, "Oh,
Oh
that's
yeah,
not supposed to happen." You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? No, but like even you were like, "Oh, that's weird." But, you know,
Right.
I know somebody who went through that
Sure,
and
sure,
it's
sure.
like I know many people, not just the one person, but it's like, hey, you're just like, "Oh, it's normal." Yeah, totally. Just don't do that. Like try not to do that, you know?
Hmm,
But like
hmm.
it'll happen. But then people are like, "What? That happened?" And you're like, "What? That didn't happen to you guys?" You
Right.
know? So
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's like when you're in that and it becomes normal, you're not really like trying to elevate past that thing. That's you think that's normal.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like with the whole economic crunch that I feel is about to happen, I don't think we can just be like make better decisions.
Hmm.
Cause like, or maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you think?
No, it's not up to. See, then it comes down to who. It's society. It's our government. How do we educate our people to be better?
But
That's
I think
it's not up,
I
right? It
agree.
it
Yeah, yeah.
it comes down to our institutions and stuff like that. That's their job, or
Hmm.
else it's just gonna affect the economy overall.
Yeah. No, 100%. This, you know what this is exactly like? This is like the defund the police thing. When they're like
Hmm.
defund the police, I was like, ooh, I think we both were like that. Actually, we should actually give them more money so that they can really educate themselves onto like better equipment,
Sure.
understand like
Yep.
cultural whatever, you know. But if you start taking money away, like they're gonna be like, well, I only have this gun. I don't have any education or training. Like even the two
But
I've
that's
seen.
the thing. Yeah, like nuance has too many words.
Exactly.
Hey,
Yeah.
right?
Everyone's like
But
defund. You're like, "Mm,
exactly, they were doing this. That's the thing that sells these.
yeah.
Tariff them, right?
Yeah,
Like
right, exactly.
that's
Yeah, exactly.
what does
But it's
that
like, do you
mean?
understand what that means, bro? Like, see, this is like, but this is what I thought was really interesting. The Conservative Party's stance on that. The leader, I'm going down saying I'm going to vote for that guy. I just want to see change. But like he said, Trump has been saying this in lead up. Should we all be surprised? Like you were just kind of ignoring it as he was saying it. You
Hmm.
know, the liberal government, right? Liberal, we're liberal, right? Yeah, yeah. Trudeau party.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. It's so like because they're so like kind of similar, and you're just like, what, you know? But so
But they're
when
all
he was saying,
playing. They're all playing a game. So like, let's
oh, Fox, totally.
right. What was the other thing?
Yeah, it's
The
conservative.
recent GST thing, or
Well, the free, bro. I was like, what? Okay, cool. It's cool
but
for
you know
me.
who's
With
voting
my
against that, right?
the conservatives,
Yeah.
right?
But wait,
Totally.
wait, wait. In the summertime, they were asking for it.
Okay. Okay. So, but I feel like this is the game of like, if we go against it, then we can try and do a vote,
Of course, yeah,
right? So it's like, even though we want to do this, it's like we need to do something to vote. We have to play to the rules of the system you're in,
yeah.
you know?
Hmm,
So
hmm.
but that to me is like, why are we playing games, guys? You know?
Yeah,
If,
exactly. That's the issue that we're in, right? This is what do you call it? Like, it's like identity politics kind of stuff that's
yeah,
happening
yeah,
right
totally.
now.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
facts, facts. But I think if you humanize things, if you really are authentic and you're willing to be authentic, then things can really change.
Hmm.
So hypothetically, let's just say that this happened. I'm not saying it did, I'm not saying it didn't, but let's say there were two systems within an organization, or like, no, hold on, how do I say this?
Okay.
I have worked previously in a system where our subset was way more team oriented than the greater subset, than the
Hmm,
greater whole,
hmm.
right? And then some things changed, and then our tiny subset became the majority. And I was like, ooh, this is probably it's gonna be tough, like changing culture because like the majority has always been like us versus them. But I was like, let's just see how it goes. And the person in charge of transforming this thing, I'm blown away. I'm like, you are the best leader I have ever seen because the the subset is now becoming the majority.
Hmm.
But that's only because we're all just being normal. And what I mean by that is like this. It's like I will post my Spotify rap, you know, wrapped. And it's like, yeah, it's like Kendrick Lamar or whatever, whatever. and then you'll post yours and it's like, oh, it's like hearts and rainbows. Don't make fun of mine. I won't make fun of yours.
Hmm.
But we're both just showing our cards. And that humanizes people. So what I think is like, we need to just show our cards and just don't judge. What was that meme that's going around? Like, we listen, but we don't judge. Have you
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, I've never seen that. Tara just started saying that. I was like, what are you talking about? And then it came
Oh,
up in my
like the
feed. I'm like,
meme,
oh, okay.
or it's
Yeah,
just
the
something
meme, the
that it
meme.
was. I was just thinking of something in the past. Like,
No, it's like, it's in TikTok or TikTok and Reels.
I
It's
don't
like,
know
it's
if I've
going
seen
around.
that then.
Okay, it's like a girl thing, I guess, because like all the things that sound Tara's like, this doesn't apply to me. Like, it's
Sure,
weird.
yeah,
It's a
yeah, yeah. That's how
boy
algorithms
meme.
work a lot of
Right, totally,
times.
totally. Hers was like, we listen and we don't judge, and then they'll say something ridiculous, you
Hmm.
know,
Oh, right,
like,
right, right. Okay.
you know,
Yeah, yeah, I
that's
get
the
it. Yeah,
joke of
yeah,
it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like taking that principle, it's like, I don't care. Uh, You know, all right. I hope you listen to this. This can't get me into any trouble because like there's no, I'm not working for you, so it's fine. Jiu-jitsu is the most toxic place I have. It's really tough. And it's funny because it's like people would never associate me with that level of toxicity. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
like you know, like in my professional life,
Sure.
I'm very like pro DEI, but I'm not going to like champion it. Like, you know, I'm not gonna like raise a flag and be like, oh, so just stop being jerks, whatever, whatever, right? So like, I was literally training, and this one dude just went on this rant about like they did an hour and a half of training about pronouns. I'm like, all right, bro, like you're taking away from my time training right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like we listen, we don't judge, bro. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, you knew somebody who did an hour and a half, but I'm trying to hit this armbar right now, and you're just wasting my time to just stop and
Mm-hmm.
just tell other people about like, do you know that they did the hour and a half training? Oh my god, blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, but I take this from my original martial arts place, which is like very traditional. Like they'll
Right,
make
right. Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like very traditional. They're like, as soon as you step on the mat, the world doesn't matter except for your training
Hmm.
because you only have an hour here. Why are you wasting your time?
Right.
So I always come at it like that. So like whenever people just start, and I've noticed people don't really like train with me because of that, because they're just like, this guy's just repping the move. I'm like, I don't want to talk to you. Just hit this armbar. I don't want to talk to you. Hit this armbar,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Because like martial arts to me is just like, we're killing, bro. We're just learning how to kill.
But
I
they're
don't
on a
need to
different.
know.
Yeah, I get it. I know. I
They're on a different
understand
map.
it. Right. But they don't.
100%.
But they don't have like an hour podcast to be able to talk to somebody about all this. So,
Facts. Find some friends, bro. That's it. Find some friends. No, no, but you see what I'm saying?
I
It's
know.
like, right. No, no, you're right. Catharsis. Catharsis is important. But understand that we are on the mats. I'm not trying to listen to your opinion right now because I could just be like,
No,
yo,
yeah, no, I
why do you
understand.
care so much?
Right, right, right. But I think
No, 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 but
that's understanding who to speak to, who not to speak to. I'm sure you can still do it there, just not to you, or
facts,
right.
facts. You know who I really like training with? Shout out to you. You'll never listen to this podcast, but I like this little Chinese kid. He's like 16. Asians just we shut the hell up and we just do our thing. Every Asian person I work with, they just like, yep, this is what we're doing.
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah, bro. But any other culture, it's like, so what do you do today? Do you see what do you think about you know, like how people are just so into like different I just already used the DEI thing, but like,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
It's like, goddamn, bro. Like, why do you care so much?
Hmm.
Why do you care so much that you're wasting my time?
Hmm.
It's like, oh, well, jujitsu is about a partnership. It's like, yeah, okay, but you're disrespecting me by not letting me train right. I don't care that you don't like Zizemzer or like they them. Like
Sure.
totally, I get it. You might not like that, bro. But right now, you're showing what a beta you are. Because an alpha wouldn't care. An
Hmm.
alpha doesn't I don't care, bro.
Hmm.
Cool. You want to be Zizemzer? That's cool for you. Are you
Right.
trying to hit me right now? Then we'll throw hands, bro.
Hmm.
You know what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say?
yeah,
But
yeah,
that's a real thing. Like when people complain about that stuff, I'm like, you're just a beta, bro. And you don't even know you're a beta. The biggest betas are the ones that try and be alpha. Wow, I'm going on this crazy rant right now. I'm so like this was so repressed because I was like, bro, come on, man. I got to deal with this every day about people telling me what they're. I'm saying, all right, totally. You want to be that, you be that, bro.
Right,
But
right,
like,
right. There's not a
let's not.
place for that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, there's not
For
a
them
place to talk
training?
about these things. Like, yeah, this is for training.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like,
Mm.
dude, locker room. That's why I run out of there. People are like, why is this guy running all the time? It's like, I don't care about your conversations, bro. I just like I'm trying to like train. Like, I don't care. I really don't care.
Mm.
If I cared, we would have talked. Some people, like
Right.
I was telling this kid, I'm like, that's a cool anime. That's what
Hmm.
I care about, bro. Or like, you could be better at like hitting this armbar on me if you did this. Like,
Hmm.
that's what should matter. And I think that that's the true philosophy of martial art. Like if you real, because in my like bio it says like there are martial artists and there are those who only practice martial arts. A real martial artist is an alpha. They don't care
Hmm.
what the sheep are doing. The fact that but I guess like they're like, well, why is he talking on this podcast about it? But it's like I'm hoping that you hear this and then you'll just be like, oh, I am being a beta right now, and
Right.
then just like shut up and train, bro.
Hmm.
You know, because like the most like I really feel this way that the most alpha people or like the most beta people are the ones that project way too hard.
Oh
They're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
so much
Right, right.
money. You're just insecure, bro.
Hmm.
Like, oh, look at this car, bro. It's amazing. Yo, you know what I did? Yo, I bought this thing. It's
Yeah.
like, that's cool. But you need me to validate the fact that you are doing this thing,
Hmm. Hmm.
which shows me you're a beta.
Yeah.
If you were an alpha, you wouldn't care what I did. You wouldn't
Hmm.
care about my opinion. You wouldn't care about anyone else's opinion. It's like, no, I care about my opinion. I'm gonna do this thing.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
You agree?
No, I
You
agree.
know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's why I like Kendrick Lamar too, because it's like he's being an alpha. He's just saying the fact, like he's not copying a style. Like one thing, like he in the new album, he's like, just work hard, keep your head down.
Hmm.
Just like do your thing, bro. It's like that's right. Just do your thing. As soon as you like, why is that person doing that? Why is that person? That's like so beta of you. Like just chill, man. Like
Yeah.
yeah. All right. I'm so glad that you agree with that. This is my struggle this week. I was just like, I can't believe we're talking about this right now. Like, what do you? And I was literally, all right, I'm on the ground like this, like just waiting. I was like, I was lying on the floor waiting for him to do his turn as he had a full conversation about pronouns with
But it
another
seems
person.
like
Like,
it's not in the right time. That just doesn't seem.
what we're doing, bro?
Yeah.
It's not the right time. And you know what I started to do? I started to act like I need to retape my fingers. 'Cause I'm like, this is awkward right now. I'm just waiting for you to stop talking. So I'm just gonna
Right.
retape my fingers. And nobody got the hint. Nobody got the hint. You know
Mm.
what they said? They're like, oh, sorry, Ervil. Sorry, I understand. Sorry. I'm like, no, it's all good. Just tell me when you're done being a beta. I'll be over here taping my fingers. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
goddamn, bro. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We were in. It was like, oh, I was in. I was actually at the martial arts place right across from where you are, and I gotta go there today because we have like a whole
Mm.
event. But they were doing this Shark Tank thing, and they're just beating up on this one dude. Like a Shark Tank is like all fresh people,
Okay.
um, on one dude for like as many rounds as you can do. And like, all right, I get that, but like, have you guys not watched Concussion? So it's a boxing Shark Tank.
Hmm. Oh, okay.
And they were just beating, like they hit this dude. This guy went, he was like, oh, and they're like, get up. And then they hit him again. I was like, oh, dude, this is looking crazy over here. But I'm like, I'm not running this class. So the dude that's like instructing the class, he felt it too. And he's like, these guys are being idiots. I'm like, yeah, they're being idiots. So then he went over and um, like started, hey, like you guys, you shouldn't do this, whatever, whatever. Started to get heated. Right. And I'm like, dog, we all have weapons, right? Like we're all holding sticks, learning how to stick fight right now. So I pause what I'm doing and I'm just watching and I'm smiling. Why am I smiling? Because I'm like, are we about to throw down with these boxers? Because we have sticks. We're gonna
Hmm.
win, hands down. And like that's that energy of like talk shit, get hit, bro. Like, all right, he's escalating this. Do we need to observe and like help him out in this situation? Because there was like a ton of them, right? But like a beta would be like overly flexing. I'm just waiting.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
do we need to throw hands? You know? And like that's that I think that's the difference. Cause like I know people are like, why are you complaining about this right now? But it's like there's such a subtle difference in martial arts where it's like you're not afraid to throw down. If you need to throw down.
Sure.
But like somebody will here's the energy. So somebody will be like, yo, you want to throw it down? All right. All right. I'm taking my shit off. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Let me unbutton this. And you're like, that's a beta. You're afraid.
Mhm.
Why are you extending the time, bro? We're gonna throw down. We're gonna throw down right now.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, and I think we need to move back to that energy of let's just throw down. Stop talking. Let's throw down.
Mhm.
You know, that's like Kendrick Lamar's like
Yeah.
squabble up,
Right.
his
Right.
song, right? Squabble up. And I think I think in our pursuit for masculinity, we've achieved toxic masculinity, but it's not really masculinity. It's toxic beta-ness.
Mhm.
You know? I've been speaking a lot and just ranting. Like, what do you think? I guess, do you disagree? But you're like, oh,
No,
maybe
no, I
that's
don't
kind of
disagree.
toxic because
Yeah,
you want
no,
to throw down, you know?
no, I agree with you. Yeah, there's a lot of that that's going on. Like, they don't realize complaining is.
Mm, it's a freaking beta move, bro. Why are you complaining? No, you're like, people are listening, but you're complaining. It's like, no, no, no. There's education. It's like Kendrick Lamar.
Mhm.
It's like, was his album about complaining? It was not. It was giving you lessons of like, okay, you want to do this? You got to do this. You want
Mhm.
to do this?
Mhm.
Like, if you go back and listen to GNX, I think it's probably my favorite album by him for a couple of reasons. And the one main one is, you know, when NWA came out,
Yeah.
like, but remember it was like, do you see the movie Straight Outta
Yeah. Yeah.
Compton?
Yeah.
Okay, so that scene where they're like, "Oh, f the police," and like, why are they talking about like all? And they're like, "We're just talking about what we see,"
Mhm.
right? I think that that's the beauty of this album. It brought it back to we're just talking about what we see. Like the things that he was saying on that album, I was like, I've never heard these words before. But that's like NWA. You've never heard these words before, but they were happening in the culture. Like not the culture, but like they were happening in his environment.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure they were saying squabble up in the
Mhm.
streets. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to say that on record. Whereas, like, people like Drake are just repeating what they've heard elsewhere as, like, oh, this is the new lingo.
Mhm.
And Kendrick's like, no, I'm just going to show you what the real lingo is. You know, just like NWA was.
Mhm.
You know, it's like we started saying like so many different words. Swole, you know, swole?
Yeah.
Remember, they're like, oh, Wabi looks so swole, right? That came from NWA, bro. I
Mhm.
was listening, I was like getting swole off bread and water. I'm like, oh, swole is a old school word, but it's like it changed our vernacular.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like that's what GNX, like Kendrick Lamar's album is doing. It's not only changing our vernacular, but our mindset about how to approach things.
Mhm.
And which is what he said. He wants to like in a couple albums ago, he was like, or like it was the Heart Part 4 or something, Part 5. He was saying how he's gonna reshape the way we look at things culturally. Where it's not like you're not like you're not trying to be toxic from weakness. Like toxic masculinity comes from weakness,
Mhm. Yeah.
you know? And to be non-toxic is to just like be no, I'll say it, but like the traditional man.
Mhm.
You know, it's like grind away. That's what Kendra said, like grind away. In the album, he says, like, I wake up 6 miles a day, go running because I deserve it all. And that song, when you hear it, you're like, oh, I deserve it all. You're like, oh, you're being so like self-centered. But it's like, no, like you deserve it all. So like keep yourself healthy, do whatever you can to make like you are worthy of everything you want. It's
Mhm.
basically what that album's about, right? And like I feel like we're moving away from that. Cause like when I hear Drake now, all I can't even listen to it because it's just like it's that toxic masculinity. It's
Mhm.
oh, yo, bro, I got this money on fucking bitch, bro. You know, and you're like, why you gotta do that, bro? You have nobody that loves you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, yo, I'll fuck like 20 women, but none of them love you. And you're like,
Mhm.
ooh, that hurts. You know, but it's like, but look at all my money. But people are only hanging out with you because you have money. And
Mhm.
then you're like, ooh, you know what I'm saying? It's like he's really shining a light on that, like that bravado out of weakness. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 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 It
Do you
just
feel
took.
that too? Or
It
yeah,
just
yeah.
took a while.
It took a what do you mean?
For the Drake thing. I mean, we've been saying this, or
No, not me. I was a Drake
oh yeah,
fan.
yeah.
I was
No,
a Drake fan to this battle. I was like, oh, you're right, bro. Oh my god.
what
Like, you
was that
know,
thing? I forgot the line now. It's
like
like
you guys
coming from
hated
the
Drake for
bottom
something.
or something like that.
Started
Like,
from the bottom, now we're
sorry,
here.
yeah. What bottom?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You, all of you guys were like, I hate Drake, and I'm like, I don't understand why. Like it's got good music, but I was just listening to it for like um so Kendrick, one of his lines is like, why you keeping it rap if it's fictional? Why you guys fed if you're criminal? So
Hmm.
basically it's like, why are you acting like this thing that you're not, you know? And like he was saying one of his lines is really fascinating, like at the end of like whacked out murals, have you poured Crafton Crunch and then proceeded to pour water in it? I'm like, oh yeah, because you didn't have enough money for the milk, the $7 of milk right now, like crazy. You know what I mean? But like he was saying that because it's like, have you gone through these things and are able to speak to these things, and that's what makes you hip hop. But then if you look at Drake, it's like there's literally a video of him yelling at his mom, not yelling, whining to his mom
Hmm.
that she bought the wrong sandwich. No, like it came out through the whole thing. Like the internet is so funny. They dig up the most like craziestness, you know? And then there's this video of like he was like giving a house tour. He's like, yeah, just remind me and my mom hang out. And then like, oh, my mom's home, blah, blah, blah. And then she's like, oh, I got you some sandwiches, Drake. And then he's like, Mom, oh, you got the wrong one. Oh, what? Oh, come on. You know I like the turkey. And you're like, bro, what?
Hmm.
Like, this is the rapper, dude. And then Kendrick Lamar's like, I'm eating like Captain Crunch with water because I don't have the money for the milk. You know, and like there's a totally different energy about it,
Sure.
you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
And he said that too. He's like, you want to be accepted in this world where you didn't grow up like it.
yeah. Hmm.
Just be who you are, bro. That's why he's like, just make us really catchy songs. You're really good at that.
Hmm.
That's literally the lyrics in
Yeah, yeah,
freaking
yeah.
Kendrick's lines, you know? It's like, just don't act like you're something you're not, which is, I think, Cat Williams 2024, the year of truths, like we're finding out a lot about things. And I think if we just go to that authentic place and just be who you are, then you can find people that are like you know?
Hmm.
And then we don't have to get angry. It's like, bro, you don't like anime. That's cool. Just go over there. That guy doesn't like anime either. But we don't have to hang out together. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, like before it was different because like when you're in school, like when you're like a little kid in your school, and these are the only people you know. So you're trying so hard to like the things that they like,
Sure. Yeah.
right? Because you want to fit in.
Hmm.
And then as an adult, you still have that weird trauma of trying to fit in with
Hmm.
other people. But it's like, bro, just let that trauma go. Find the things that you like, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you input something because I was just like going off because I was like, all of this stemming from that one dude who wouldn't let me hit the arm bar because I was just listening to him talk about like the craziest, bro. It was a secondhand account too. It was, bro. Sorry, last thing. It was a secondhand account, dude. You didn't even go through the training, bro, and you were upset about it. Like this person did an hour and a half of pronoun things. I'm like, that's cool, but you're
Was
you're
it in the
not
middle,
doing
like in the middle of in the middle
in
of
the
the?
middle,
Okay, that
bro.
doesn't make
And
sense. I don't understand that.
what are we doing out here?
This was
Like,
itching at his mind forever.
just like it's itching at my mind, bro. Like I can see the hypocrisy, but I'm just saying it's like one dude's just
No, but
trying to
there's a
train.
place for it, right? I get what you're saying it here because this is all we
Yeah,
do is we're just talking, right? So
we're just talking,
at a
bro.
place that you're training, I don't think that doesn't seem like a right place for it.
Yeah, and it's only an hour and a half for that session, bro.
Hmm.
Like,
Right,
come
right,
on.
right.
You have how many more hours in the day?
Sure, yeah, and you got to get your money's worth, right?
That's what I'm saying, bro. This isn't even cheap. I'm like, this is like I'm spending 214.70.
Hmm.
I know the exact number because every month it's like charge me. I'm like, see, I'm
Right.
a credit card. I'm like, I'm paying $214 for this damn thing. All right,
Mm.
fine. And then I'm going there, listening to some dude like cry about pronouns. I'm like, come on, man. Like, this is $214. I need to hit
Right.
my arm bars, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's different if it's like $10.
Sure. Exactly.
All right, you know what's crazy? You know what's actually so crazy? But this is like, I guess, the business of it all. So the place where I go for like knife fighting, right across the street from you, it's $20 a drop in, and we murder people, bro. That's all we're figuring out. Just like, how do you kill somebody with a knife? All right,
Mhm.
you know what? If I got implicated for like, like you killed somebody in the future, it's like, you know what? I probably did because like I'm learning how to like knife fight right now, bro.
Sure.
But like, so it's $20, and it's work. It's just work, 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 work. We don't care. Somebody will make a little joke, I'm like, but work, 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 work,
Mm-hmm.
work, work. Now I'm paying $200 every month. So like, all right, just I do like one class a week, like $80, let's say. 80
Hmm. Hmm.
bucks for work. It would be cheaper if I just got a membership, but I'm like, I'm not gonna have two memberships, bro. Like, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah, right.
So like, but then I pay the 214 and I'm just sitting there listening to some dude like complain. I'm like, bro, what are we doing? Like, it's cheaper to just do the work than listen to you
Right, right.
complain, bro.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it. It's, the more money you spend, or maybe that's the thing. It's like because we have money, so then like people are more pretentious because they have money. Whereas people who don't have money, they see the money value situation and they're like,
hmm.
okay, I need to like give value.
Sure,
You know what I mean? What do you
possibly.
think that is?
I don't know. Either they this is thing like that's probably been itching at his mind too long, or I don't know what's going on. Like it
Or
could be
maybe he's
that,
a
or he just
closet
doesn't
one.
have. Yeah, no, it could be that. Yeah, it's what was the thing that we grew up where it's like someone that's like complaining about someone that's gay is like most likely a
And
person that's
probably
gay.
gay, bro. Yeah. Like I didn't care. Like, all right, that's cool, man. Like, I'm not, but like,
I
cool for
don't know how
you.
it's how is this
But
affecting your life? Like, what is it
that's what
changing
I'm
in your
saying, bro.
life?
Be like, yo, I hate these gay people, bro. Too many gay people out here. It's like, maybe because you are one.
Yeah, you're just
I don't know.
trying to hide it. Yeah.
Yeah, right,
Hmm.
bro. I kind of get that vibe though. Kind of get that vibe. Honestly, I kind of get that vibe. When I
Right.
saw that complaint, I'm like, you're kind of being the thing you don't like, bro. Like, just hit that they them, bro. Like
Hmm.
you can be a they them
Right.
for you. I'm not saying that that's wrong. Just like whatever you want to
No.
do.
Yeah.
Like, but I'm getting that vibe right now that like you
Mm.
really care about this, eh? You really care about this.
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
Probably your parents are like, yelling at this all the time, but you're like, you know what I mean? Like his parents are like, I hate those like the alphabet community, and he's like, damn, I'm secretly an alphabet dude. So like, he's like, I gotta absorb, like, like he
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah,
does
yeah.
have. I'm just speculating. Maybe he really does just hate them. Then I'm like, you need to let that hate in your heart go, bro. So
Right.
it's one or the other. Either you're one of them and just come out of the closet and we'll be like, that's cool, man. Do your thing, bro.
But most
Or
of, again, it's like if you really,
what?
really, really hate this thing, I think that's something you're fighting your own demons in there somewhere.
Yeah, right. Facts, bro. Because what was that? The ultimate form of inclusivity is indifference, bro.
Mm.
I don't care. I don't care. We gotta get this job done,
Right.
you know? But like, or maybe just a hateful person. You got some demons, bro. Maybe you just like hate the world. Maybe you just hate your life. Maybe there's so many things in your
Maybe.
life. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mm.
like you hate so many things
Maybe.
that,
Maybe what he's really pissed at is the $7 of milk
yeah,
that he's
facts. And but the only thing he can control instead
right.
of like the economics of it is just like I would just hate on this. We
He's
start
just
like
blaming the wrong
attaching,
thing. He's blaming the wrong thing. That's what's happening.
bro. And you know who used that tactic? Hitler and the Nazis, bro. Read some goddamn books.
Mm.
That's what he did, right? He's like, oh, you know why we're in this position? Because the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Germans were like, damn those Jews. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, don't fall for the mind tricks, bro.
Yeah.
Just what's wrong with your life? Fix those things, man. You deserve it all, like Henry said.
Mm.
So just chill out, bro.
Yeah.
All right. Enough of that. That was like some craziness. Like, what am I talking about here? Um, you know what's interesting though? It's like you can just like like you don't because you're into one thing doesn't mean you're like that thing.
No. Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? Like
Sure.
it's like I wouldn't say you're a hateful person. You yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you like Eminem.
Yeah.
Cool,
Yeah.
you like Eminem, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
like you can listen to all the Taylor Swift you want, but at the end of the day, you can be a Karen, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like just because you present the veneer of being put together doesn't mean you're actually put together.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's the Cat Williams like 2024. Like we need to break through to the truth, bro,
Right.
and then realize that you're controlled by some demons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Speaking of demons, what do you think? Have you heard anything about the what do you call it? The Skinwalker Ranch
No.
thing. Okay, so I'm listening to this podcast, and the Skinwalker. I love how I just bring it to UFOs all the time. So like the Skinwalker Ranch is this place on Earth. It's like in Utah, and all the indigenous people say that it's like it's has like evil spirits, right? And they've been doing a lot of scientific study on it, and they have like a lot of data, and they see a lot of UAPs, UFOs, some like weird apparitions, things moving without you wanting them to, people getting sick. And they're saying like not that it's like a not that it's like a portal. Some people say it might be a portal, but like there's a demonic hotspot there. Or not even demonic, but like a lot of strange events are happening in that area. Okay. So we know that this is fact. Have you ever seen Inuyasha?
I don't remember it.
So a girl falls into a well, and
Hmm.
then she's like in like the Edo period of Japan, and there's like all these demons, and like Inuyasha's like a half demon,
Hmm.
and like all of these all of these like ancient stories and like Chinese mythology, Japanese like Asian stuff. They talk about like half demons coming out, like Demon Slayer,
Hmm.
even And I'm kind of like, is this the world we're living in? Like, is there an alternate reality of like demons and monsters and like we've kind of like pushed it aside because we're like, oh, that's not real. But then you're getting scientific proof of these certain hotspots like Skinwalker Ranch exhibiting paranormal behavior, And
Hmm.
now that we're knowing about like UAPs and like interdimensional travel, potential time travel, it's like is this good and evil battle really real? And like are there hotspots in the world that kind of allow these entities to enter into our domain? It's a weird thought,
Hmm.
but like, what do you think? Do you think it's like nuts and bolts? Like our world is like very basic, or are you like open to that possibility? Because a lot of people who say that they study UAPs, they start to go all spiritual. I'm like, oh, I'm getting it now. I see what you guys mean because it's like there's a lot of stuff that was like, I don't know if this was actually the truth.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
angels and demons. Like, what are you guys talking about? It's like maybe it's real.
Yeah, I think because it's the unknown, that's what that falls into that category.
We're trying to fit it in, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, totally.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
But you think that's just it?
I think that's what it is. I think it'll fit under the real world of science.
No, 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 100%. But what they're saying is science is backing up these things now.
No, but you there's things you see. I think I saw like a clip where Neil deGrasse Tyson was kind of talking about it because he was
Okay.
on Piers Morgan or something. Back in the time, based on whatever their understanding was, or he was just seeing the planets kind of move, but he was relaying that thing because he didn't understand how it worked. He was relaying it to God.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, facts.
But then once we
Yeah.
understood what it means, we kind of realized, oh, it's the orbit around the sun.
No, no, facts are facts. Right, 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 right. But
It's
it's
not like
like
the planet was moving back and forth like this in the sky,
no, no,
right?
no, 100%, 100%. But it's like science is now like telling us that these things are real. Like the time travel scientifically is possible
Hmm.
because they're like if you just warp gravity, gravity is tied to time, you can like jump back and forth. Actually, the best example that they said is like how light that's traveling towards us is the image of the past.
Hmm.
Right? Like if we see stars, that's actually the past we're looking at. We're not looking at the future.
Yeah.
We're not looking at the present moment. So like our light of the observation is shooting out, and then we're interacting with the past light,
Sure.
and we're just like meeting at this point, right? So what they're saying is like if and that's just gravity propulsion, right? It's like light is moved through gravity, right?
Hmm.
Space and gravity are connected. Gravity and time are connected. So what they're saying is if you can just jump to that gravitational point, you're technically at that time period. Like you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
it sounds so like I'm trying to dumb it down into what he was explaining, you know?
Hmm.
Um, but like, so okay, so we know that time travel is possible. So then it's like, but you've been saying this through like movies, TV, anime, you know what I mean? So it's
Hmm.
like, will there be a point where like actually that was real? Perfect example, Star Trek,
Hmm.
computer, da,
Yeah,
da,
yeah.
da, da, da. And now we have like Siri. You're like, oh, you were you were like priming us
Hmm.
for, you know what I mean? We could relate it back. Oh, it's like Star Trek technology, blah, 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 right? So now when I say like, oh, it's sort of like Inuyasha, there's like this portal and this girl falls in, she goes to a different demonic world. And then you're like, oh, technically that's Skinwalker Ranch. You know what I mean? It's like it's easier in our minds to like accept because we have a relative
Sure.
story
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
attached to it.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering is like how much of what we know through movies, TV, and stories is actually real now? Like Quantum World, like
Hmm.
Ant-Man. You
Hmm.
know Ant-Man when he's
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
fighting. You're like, Quantum World, is that real?
Right.
You're like, there is a quantum reality, and you're like,
Hmm.
oh, what? You know,
Sure.
I feel like you tell me how you feel. I feel like in the next 5 years, we're gonna get some confirmation on all this stuff.
On
Like,
the UFO
like,
stuff.
yeah, but it's like, and relative to that, because like UFOs is just one thing. Once you say, hey, they're real, the real question, and this is the scientists I listen to, which is like, well, what is the science related to that, and how do you apply the science to other things?
Hmm.
So that's where I'm getting the whole like transdimensional travel. It's like, well, they're like scientifically it will work like this.
Right.
We don't currently have the technology to do it,
Hmm.
but the math says that this will work like this,
Right.
right? So it's like I think in like 5 years it'll just become commonplace, and
Hmm.
then just like iPads for kids, like they can't imagine a time without the internet.
Yeah. Right.
I think like they're gonna get indoctrinated into this whole thing, and they're gonna be
Hmm.
like, yeah, of course, transhuman, yeah,
Yeah.
heaven and hell is real, yeah. Or no, you think like maybe not.
I
Like, what do you
think
think?
some things of that, yeah, may come true.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
because once they've said, I think like the entry door point is like, okay, something is doing this thing. Then now the question is like, how does it work? And the mathematicians are like, this is how it works. And then the
Hmm.
next step after that's like, can we recreate it?
Right.
Like that's logically
Hmm.
how it goes, you know? Yeah. I heard a scientist say that. He was like, once you see something's possible, the race is to figure out how you can do it yourself. Because you don't want that technological advantage on you,
Hmm.
which is what we did for like the atom bomb.
Right.
People
Yeah.
were racing. Yeah, I think we're in for an interesting future. What are your predictions for 2025?
I have no idea.
Do you think it's just gonna be like chill? Do you think it's gonna kick off
uh,
like Cat Williams or Cat Williams start
yeah, yeah, yeah.
2024 with a bang? Like, oh, okay.
We'll see. I don't know. But again, if the job market's not doing good, that's the
That's what
start
I'm
of the
very
sign
much
of
thinking.
but like there was a previous Bank of Canada person already said they were already in a recession.
Yeah, right, totally. But then it's like, is 2025 the year we're gonna see it and feel it, or is it still just like the stepping stone
I don't
year?
know. That's the thing. People, you can't predict that. They've been predicting this thing when a recession
Sure.
is throughout this year, even last year. Still didn't show up yet, but we'll see.
Are you
Or like, how bad is it going to be? Plus, again, the big changes that Trump's in, right? So we don't know how
That's
the
what I mean.
market's going to act
That's
as
what I
soon as
mean.
he
That's I'm
jumps,
like,
as soon as he gets in. What can he do? What is he going to do? So that's why it's kind of like unsure at the moment.
okay, fair. Because that's my feeling as well. It's like we don't know. He hasn't taken office yet, so we don't know what it's gonna be like.
Right.
All right, weird internet error. That was pretty odd. I was like, what's going on? But because you like actually froze on me, and then I was like, oh, are you frozen? Blah blah blah. But like the internet cut out. I think it's trying to tell us like, hey, stop talking about this craziness. Um. Okay, so in case I don't know where we stopped exactly, but just to
Just when you said like
jump
we
in.
don't know what's going to happen when he's in office, I think something like that.
Okay, cool. So we don't know what's gonna happen when he's in office, and like what has been in lead up to it has kind of been kind of freaky. Whereas like, we're gonna put Department of Efficiency through Elon Musk and like, hey, they better stop that war before I jump into office. Hey, you should become the 51st president, 51st state, Canada, right? And you're just like, dude, you're talking like crazy right now. And if 2025 starts off like that, it's like, are we in for a reset of like our governance? Is there going to be some craziness? Like, you've been talking crazy prior to coming in. What's it going to be like when you're in?
Mhm.
Or do you think it's all just like smoke and mirrors? He's just like talking crazy, but there's going to be nothing.
I don't know. It's hard. I don't know. It's hard to predict.
But like, no, because you know, like the way policies are pushed. So is it like,
Well, I think
is it like,
the
oh, you can't actually do
institutions,
that?
in some
Like,
ways, yes and no. There are
you
some
know,
things. Yeah, I do understand that. There's, um, like the whole Elon Musk thing. That
that was
position
weird.
is just a bureaucracy position. I don't know. They don't. I don't know how much power they actually have because some things have to pass through the House anyways to make these things plausible.
Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2. I think we didn't have a podcast
Oh
after
yeah,
watching
yeah,
that
yeah,
movie
yeah.
together. Okay, so all right, this is how we'll end the podcast. We'll just talk about Gladiator 2 and like the relationship or
Sure.
like the relevancy related to what's happening now. Um, because we were talking about it after the movie. So just as a quick review, maybe will this podcast be called Gladiator 2? People are like, oh, I want that review, bro. But it's like very end. Um, so the movie Gladiator 2 was not good.
Yeah, no.
You all right, cool. Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, because I was like, why is it so hyped? Like everyone's like best most money Denzel made in his career, blah blah blah. But it's like it wasn't good.
Oh really? I didn't hear that. Okay.
I saw it in his thing. It's like the most money he's made from a movie is Gladiator 2. But
Okay.
maybe it's just all the hype. People are like, oh, it's gonna be amazing. But like, did you notice that he didn't like use an accent? It was like Denzel Washington still.
Yeah, I kind of liked his character though. I
No,
was.
facts, because we like Denzel. But
Yeah.
like at least try, bro. Just like Pedro Pascal, I was like, I felt like you didn't even try with an accent, bro. You were just Pedro in this movie.
But sometimes it's
Yeah.
again, yeah, we're blaming the actors, but it really comes down to the direction. I think that it depends on the director how they want to do it and what they're looking for.
Okay, fair.
And
Totally. Yeah,
like
yeah,
I,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. All right, that makes sense.
Maybe the director
Right.
just wanted Denzel to be Denzel in that time period.
Right. Okay, yeah, fair. Fair. Yeah, maybe he did. It was bad direction then. But like if you if we ignore like all the bad stuff from the movie, the relevancy towards what's happening now, I felt like it was like an ode to the time period we're in when he made, spoiler alert, the the ruler, he made his monkey one of the people, and then they all hailed the monkey,
Yeah.
and people were like, bro, what's going on? But they had to do it because like, that's the political game. Nobody's gonna say anything. So like him making Trump making Elon Musk like that position, the Doge position. I'm also like, you guys, he's trolling you. Like Doge was his Dogecoin, remember?
Hmm.
So it's like, can you not see that this is a joke?
Yeah.
You know? So like with that, that's why I'm a little hesitant for 2025. Even though my word of the year is abundance, I believe that it'll be an abundant year. Um, at the same time, it's like, what are all the things, like, what's going to actually like fan out from what you've been saying?
Right.
Will the Department of Energy or Efficiency, the Doge thing, will it actually make changes? And then if it makes changes, will you see some crazy truths that are happening from America? And then is this the downfall of America? You know what I mean? Like we
Mm-hmm.
had this weird veneer of America being like invincible for so long. And now I think it's showing its cracks. That's why I wanted to see how like Chicago was for you. If you're like, oh, it's like terrible.
Yeah.
You
So
know?
what I saw, that's what I'm saying. In those areas, it was pretty nice.
Yeah, so it's like maybe like those areas are fine, but like the major cities are showing like badness.
Hmm.
Maybe the cities are gonna die. I don't know. But
I
like,
think the
you know,
cities in general, but cities are the ones that make the economy of America, right?
yeah, totally. Yeah. Like So you were like, oh, the rural areas are cool, but then we look at like LA, New York, and it's not. I mean, I haven't had like direct experience with it. People have gone and they're like, oh, it's great still. So like maybe, but like, is it great or is it actually falling? Like you see all the homeless encampments in the LA sector.
Hmm.
I actually know one dude who works in LA. He's from Mexico and he was saying that it's just as bad as you see it on social media. Like he's driving past this stuff.
Hmm.
I'm like, oh, okay, well, if you're saying it's bad, but like, I don't know, like, are we in the midst of the decline of Western civilization? I don't know. That's what Gladiator II was suggesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. And you see the martial law for
Well, I mean, yeah, it was
freaking
suggesting, but they did find the hero at the end.
yeah, but they didn't show like how it,
Well, they
you
all
know,
combined together. They all worked together. That's the idea. That was the point at the end.
facts and facts, but like it didn't show 10 years later. You know what I mean? It's like that was a great idea. You're right. You know, and then
Hmm.
ended the movie.
Yeah,
So
no,
like,
there was no civil war. I think that's what saved that. Well, that was the point of it. But
oh, true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Which is just like America right now. It's like, are you about to have a civil war? What's going on, guys?
yeah, well, I don't
That
think
could
it's
be
going to
crazy.
be. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. No, no, that'd be too crazy. But like the thing with South Korea right now is like martial law. Is like, what is going on? That was the
See,
next
that
place I
was a
wanted to
crazy
visit in.
one. Yeah, that was a crazy one. For the week that it was crazy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now, but yeah.
Okay, but what happened? I was like, because like I did not pay
Well,
attention, and then
again, we're not paying attention generally to what's happening around the world, right? We're just thinking of
facts.
America since America's the guy with the big stick kind of thing, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
that's the main reason. But there's things happening around the world too that we don't realize
yeah. So
within
when
their own
this,
politics. Yeah, like in France, there's a lot of things going on in France, is what I hear too.
oh damn,
Yeah, their government. Yeah. So this in South Korea was, I think he's trying to save his political career, trying to run a martial law so they don't impeach him or something like that. That's what I kind
oh
of
no
heard.
way,
Yeah,
damn,
yeah. So like some people fought to get into the thing, into their parliament and pass. Like out of 300 members, I think 100 members are able to get in to pass that this martial law is like kind of like illegal or something like that. So
wow.
he said he'll remove it. I don't know at this point if it's been removed or what's going on. I haven't checked into that latest news, but I think I heard someone like, I think was it like some workers or Hyundai, some of the big plant or something striking till he leaves. I don't know if that's
Wow.
true, but yeah.
See, that's crazy because I wanted to go to South Korea as my next location, but after seeing that, I was like, bro, what? Like, you just never know about
Right.
like these places. But how can that just happen? Like, do you think tomorrow it's like, all right, Trump takes office and like martial law now? You're like, what? Or is it more? Because like that
No,
seemed
I don't.
very.
But it's again, it's how strong is America's institutions to stop this kind of things?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. Yeah.
Do you hear the rationale for why is it First Amendment is guns? Or
Second
is it
Amendment.
Second Amendment? So they're like, this is what I've been hearing that like the Second Amendment's there just in case the government becomes tyrannical and then you can fight off the government. I'm like, that sounds crazy in its own right, bro. So like you want to keep your guns just in case like the government gets wild so that you can shoot them when they come. Like you know what I mean? Like that
Yeah,
doesn't
but
sound
like
crazy.
I understand that, but it's pretty. It again, it's all interpretation. It's up to some
That's what I
people
mean. I'm
how
like, is that
they
real?
view it
That
like
sounds
that.
crazy
But
to
it
me.
also mentions like a well regulated and armed militia. So it's like, are they talking about cops? Right? It's not talking about necessarily individuals. Uh,
Okay,
like
so it's like
there's
how do you
different under.
want to
Yeah,
interpret
yeah, yeah, yeah. So like a lot of the
wild?
yeah. That's why it's again. How are you are you gonna really stop the American military? You don't have
That's what I
drones.
mean,
You don't
bro.
have bazookas. You can't buy those things like that,
That's what
right?
I mean. If
So
they want in, they're coming in, bro.
yeah. So like
You know what I mean?
yeah, that's why it doesn't make sense.
That's exactly what I mean. I'm like, did you guys like critically think about this when they're like, I want my Second Amendment rights so that I can protect myself in case like the government tries to like, bro, it's the
But they
government.
have they have bigger weapons than you.
Right? I'm like, yo, literally, they're in another country just destroying that country. What do you think you're gonna do with your AK-47, bro?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? But then it's like, is it to protect yourselves from other people? Because then that's also weird. It's like, well, they got a gun, so I need a gun too. Because
Yeah.
like the way that they are obsessed with their guns is weird to me. Like nobody here
It's
has a gun, bro.
they've been sold that idea in a sense, right? That
Yeah.
one the group that wants to keep selling guns, right?
But then again, sold the idea. It's like, well, that's just mind manipulation.
Hmm.
Is that why other countries are just laughing in America, like Russians? Like they're like, oh, they're a joke. And the Americans like, we're not a joke. But then it's like, some things you do are like kind of crazy, bro. Like the Second Amendment, I don't understand. Like nobody here has a gun, and we're not afraid of our freaking government taking over and
Hmm.
killing us.
Hmm.
Like what? You know?
Yeah.
Like I don't feel that fear of
Yeah.
like,
No. No.
well, what if the government comes and tries to kick me out of my home? I'm like,
Well, they yeah.
they're,
Again, it's
they're the
they
government,
sell
bro,
that idea, but I don't think it happens, right? Like,
in America.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, why do you guys want your guns so badly,
Hmm.
bro?
Hmm.
Because you're right. They like if they want in, they're coming in, bro.
Yeah, they have bigger weapons. They got
Yeah,
drones. Like we don't.
I know,
You
right?
can't even buy drones as a
Have you
citizen.
heard of the audio the new I forgot the exact term. I listen to a lot of like military podcasts and they're talking about it related to UAPs. And there's a sound wave now that they can
Hmm.
just shoot at you
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
makes you feel like you're on fire. Active denial system came back to me. So like they'll just shoot audio waves at you and they can make you feel like your skin's on fire, but they're not actually on fire. It's
Yeah,
just like it's
yeah, yeah,
all
right, right, right.
psychological. Bro, like what's your AK-47 gonna do, bro? Just shoot the audio at your house, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hmm.
But maybe that's the thing. If you look too into this stuff, you see the hypocrisy and you're like, the world's a little crazy. But it goes back to the thing I said at the beginning. It's like, am I just the only one paying attention? Like Mr. Doom and Gloom. It's like, no, but this is crazy, bro. Like, just look at it logically.
Hmm. Hmm. But it's
You
across the
know,
whole world, though. That's the problem. That's the.
that's what's freaking me out. I'm like, I don't want to look past what we're looking at right now because,
But the
like,
thing is, like, this is all man-made, right? That's why you're gonna
that's
find
true too.
flaws in all these things.
That's true too. People are vying for power. If you just give each other infinite energy, nobody will care, bro. 0 point
Actually,
energy.
yeah, that's the thing. Was it what did they say? FDR or somebody like before there was no actual term limit in the United States.
Okay, interesting.
It was just that what you call like you know your
You could just be fired.
not
It's like
fired.
that.
No, 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 no,
You
no. It's not
go
like
in, like,
that
do a good job, and then you could stay in, kind of thing.
kind of thing. But also like you respected the position that you're like, okay, I'll only do 2 terms, kind of thing. Like that's it.
Oh, I see, I
Like
see,
it
I
was just
see.
a normal practice without ever having a rule saying that it should only be 2 terms.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right? It was just you would follow that kind of thing.
But then greed took over.
Yeah, so that's why FDR
Oh,
set. He saw this was happening, and he had to put in the term limits so people don't actually abuse it because he saw something changing. I guess.
oh, that's a good person to actually like think about that.
Hmm.
See, that's the crazy part when you think about it. It's like the seven deadly sins are so powerful, bro. Like the demons like greed, lust, all that stuff. And you're just like people can take advantage of other people. Okay, no, actually, all right. Last thing, because I really have to go to that thing. Um, so to go back to the Shark Tank thing, where actually I'm going to go soon. So when he was when we were witnessing that Shark Tank and the dude was getting beat up in the center, I was like, oh, this is why the aliens won't show themselves. Because we're like, we are so monkey, bro. Like, it took us all to be like, that's seems like he's hurt, bro.
Hmm.
And let's try and stop that, you know? And then them being like aggressive about, like, why are you interfering with our training process, bro? But it's like, that dude's gonna get a concussion and he's gonna be really hurt, and then somebody like he might even die from the concussion, and somebody's gonna go to jail. You know what I mean? Like the foresight for it. And I think that we are still, despite us believing that we are elevated to a certain level, we are still monkeys with like uncontrolled urges, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And that's something that Kendrick Lamar GNX, the album, he was saying that he had too. He's like, in the song Reincarnated, he actually took a Tupac beat and then like used it as a sample and then rapped over it. One of my favorite songs because he talks about like past life regression and like overcoming trauma. And one thing that he said was like, he has urges too, but he holds them down.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we haven't hit that point where we're able to discipline ourselves past our urges, our monkey nature, you know?
Sure.
And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think like unless
as a whole species.
as a
Yeah.
whole species, yeah, there are like pockets of it. There are some people that are like, oh yeah, maybe that's not right. Maybe I shouldn't do that, whatever, whatever. And I think we're moving in the direction. I think like he's pushing consciousness in that direction of like self control. And I think like even our little parts in this, like I think everybody's part matters. And it's like you need to like show your cards,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is I feel like what we do on this podcast is like I went on that 20-minute rant about that dude who was like talking about the pronoun thing, you know? And it's like, but in doing that, then you could see it's like you need to be above that because that's some monkey mind stuff, bro. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
do you? Like
Mm-hmm.
my one all right, final thing. My one thought about that is like, oh sorry. Like what if I just started calling you George? I was
Mm-hmm.
like, hey George. And you're
Okay.
like, bro, that's not my name. Like, oh, okay, George. Chill out, George.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then you'd be like, yo, what a dick.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the same thing as like them being like, hey, I want to be they, them. Hey, I want to be Z Simzer. It's like, cool, bro. Your name is George. No, no, not your name is George. Your name is XYZ. But like, if I insist on calling you George, that's like the same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, but my name's not George.
Right.
Whatever, George.
Yeah.
You know, and unless we can just like move past that and just like get like meet people where they're at, not where we're at, then we won't elevate to that point where the aliens come down and give us 0 point energy. Just kidding about that alien part, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Like I feel like that's where we're stuck, you
Mm-hmm.
know, as a species. It's like, why do you care so much? Unless it's something like, hey, I'm going to like, you know, inject you with a vaccine that you don't have any idea about, and then you can't enter any. Oh wait, we did that. Damn. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you didn't catch that joke
No,
about
I got
COVID.
the joke.
Yeah. But I'm saying like things like that. Maybe we should be like, hey, let's think rationally here. But like a pronoun thing, I don't care about. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Anyways, I really have to go. Any other final thoughts?
No,
Do you think we'll move past it? Do you think
w-
we'll move past it?
past what?
Like our monkey nature. You think we'll be
No, I
like,
don't see it.
I know, bro. I was
I see it all the time. I see the debates. So
dang,
people are just
I
arguing
know.
about. We're still stuck on religion. I think religion is a big problem. That we're
Yeah.
stuck in the past. We're talking about things that were from 2,000 years ago, and believing it.
Yeah. Facts.
So we're not
Facts.
leaving it.
It wasn't until like Mexico was one thing because it was like, okay, yeah, you're impoverished, bro. I get it. But like we're in Canada and watching that like the Shark Tank thing where the guy was getting beaten up. I was like, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
it's not even like an ideology. No, I'm literally watching this dude get beat up. But it's like, oh, it's training, blah, blah. And you're like, oh, it's very, you know, it's like, but when I saw it, I was like, yeah, there's no way we're moving past this. Like, like, how am I going to convince that guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think my response, like, I wasn't the dude who was like confronting them, but I would just say, hey, man, that looks like some crazy training. Do your thing, but do it when I'm not here.
Mm-hmm.
I would just say that, you know? It's like, hey, we're going to a different direction. I won't tell you how to run your thing. You won't tell me how to run my thing. But like, this is crazy for me. I'm just like, oh, that's gnarly, dude. Just like, wait till we're done. You guys can stay,
Mm-hmm.
have your fun. Because then, you know, it's like you're not making him feel little. It's like, oh, it's about me. It's like, oh, he's too weak to watch this. Yeah, I'm too weak to watch you beat up some dude.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they're gonna do it anyways, even if we're not there.
Right.
So it's like, so just save it till I'm not here.
Yeah.
And if he dies, bro.
Mm.
You're going to jail, not me. Anyways, all right, I gotta go. Till next week, take it easy, fish. Are you having a vacation? Because like last week we didn't know. But
No, I don't think so.
all right, cool. All right, till next week, take it easy, fish.
Later.
Peace. Bye. All right. I hope you enjoyed that episode. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all those fun things, and check out our sponsors: Zenro Clothing Co., Portian Bakery, and Podbean. Take it easy, fish.
Peace.